does the existence of pools increase the security of Bitcoin because we will have more Bitcoin miners because they've got less risk? Or do you think if there was no pools, then they would just all be competing and taking the risk?
If miners are forced to not use pools, I think it would be net negative.
Yeah.
But at the same time, pools are not bringing any security.
No, I don't mean, I don't think directly, but indirectly, they lead to more security.
Because otherwise, most of the miners would be unable to operate the mining farms longer term, because the chance of it would be just a casino. Somebody would get lucky and a lot of people would get busted.
Especially in the early days when the difficulty was rising up very crazy. Basically, like after 2013, there was the ASIC era, right? After CPUs, GPUs, FPGAs, then there was the ASICs. And the ASICs were not using the cutting edge chip technology. So the chips produced for hashing were being obsolete within like a couple of months. So with your investment into the equipment, doing it in a solo way, there would be no way to sustain that operation. So you would have to naturally pool your computational resources with a pool. But at the same time, I see it as another service. That's a business opportunity, or at that time, that was a good business opportunity, where naturally miners don't want to run the mining infrastructure because the pool is basically something between the Bitcoin nodes and the miners themselves. And it has its own challenges. It's basically a high availability system. Otherwise, you could lose money, right? Because we're talking about like now significant amount of money that is in each block as a subsidy, and you want to make sure that your software is correct. And this is something that miners were willing to pay for in terms of the mining fee or the pool fee, and put this responsibility onto somebody else who sees it as a good business opportunity. Nowadays, the pools are like the pool itself as a business is not such a profitable vehicle anymore, but some companies probably tie it with other businesses, financing, and ties to manufacturers and stuff like that.
Yeah, Harry Suddock talked to us about this, it's a couple of years ago now.
Yeah, a while ago.
Yeah, he said the pools will eventually trend to zero in terms of their revenue model, and then maybe even invert and actually start paying for people to mine with them. What is it is it anything that pools can offer on their own that make them more competitive than other pools, or is there no distinguishable features?
It's really commoditized.
Yeah.
Like the main service is really indistinguishable from each other. There is not a differentiating factor between pools. If we are talking about the pool service itself, the fee structure is one of the important ones. If you can check the mark for trusting the party. Like it was not always the case that you could trust the pool you were using, but if you can make this thing like so, then it's pretty much the same service everywhere.
Did any pools rug?
Like bankrupt or?
No, rug pool their users. You're saying they couldn't trust them?
Yeah. There are different options how you can steal money as a pool in different schemes.
Right.
But sometimes it's very difficult, obviously, to prove it. You have only some statistical evidence, typically. There are ways, and historically it was the case. I am not aware of anybody doing it nowadays anymore.
What were they doing? Like obfuscating some of the blocks they mined, just keeping the whole reward?
Yeah, you can play with the luck. You can, for example, report more hash rate under management than you actually have.
Okay.
You can not include all the money which you should include into the price. You can not count all the shares properly. So you say, for example, I pay you X amount satoshis for X amount of volume of hash rate, but then counting the hash rate you provide to me, it's difficult to check it from the miner's perspective. You have to have the infrastructure for counting all the volume you provided. So it's pretty simple for the pool to skim just 0.5% of something and claim that, for example, I have 0% fee. But if I don't count all the hash rate you're giving to me, then I'm not paying you for everything, basically making the fee however big I want.
Yeah, but that should be pretty hard to hide really now, because it's pretty transparent on what you should be earning.
Yeah. If you have the infrastructure for doing all the accounting yourself as a miner, then you would find out this on a particular pool. But it's not always the case that you have the infrastructure, and it was not the case throughout all the years.
Right.
Because you just don't expect that there can be issue like this on a pool.
You don't expect there to be scammers.
Until somebody say you that, hey, please double check this because it can be a trouble. You never know. And if you look at miners, not everybody is highly professional miner with specialists in software writing, these checking tools. It is not a common thing. Lately, obviously, the more industrialized the mining space get, I guess this is not happening anymore because the miners are big public companies, and it would be difficult to break this trust. But yeah.
Yeah, it also then sounds to me like if the mining rewards eventually, the commission that the pool takes is trending to zero, those that are now paying for hashes, it feels like they're maybe slightly ahead of the curve in that they're preparing for the scenario where there isn't any kind of commission, any cut to take, and therefore they're preparing for it becoming a service they pay for.
Yeah, there can be different motivations. We know that there are companies operating pool as a loss leader nowadays. It's something what you can do if you can benefit from it different ways. But from mining perspective specifically, it doesn't make sense, obviously. But in a more general sense, yes, we obviously don't do that.
Yeah.
But
so why would they do it as a loss leader? What's the benefit?
Do you have some additional businesses or products that you want to associate with the customers that you have on the pool side? So you onboard the customers to the pool, but at the same time, they could be tied to different hardware deals. So the miners, want to update their hardware. They want to build new farm. So they get this pretty good deal or financing or whatever to make this happen. But the condition is that they stay on the pool. So you have alternative revenue stream. That's how we see it.
Has any of the ASIC miners launched their own pools then because of that?
Not necessarily because of that, but historically, yes. For example, Bitmain is running pool AGs already. And we did see some strings attached to the hardware historically.
Yeah.
Again, the landscape is changing every few years. It is different, especially as larger and larger companies are dominating the space. Naturally, the landscape shifts to more standard business relationships, let's say. But yeah, we know about a lot of miners historically who could not switch the pool because of some agreements with hardware manufacturers.
Yeah, I mean, it just sounds like hyper-efficient free market, which trends everything towards zero when something is commoditized, which is, I think, something Jeff Booth would be a huge fan of. Okay.
It's the case. It takes years and years.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not a lot of ways how to prevent this.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about Stratum V2. I've heard about this for years. I feel like I first talked to Matt Corallo about it about 3 or 4 years ago. Does that sound about right?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, about 3 or 4 years ago. And we were having a conversation about pools and trying to make them become a little bit more decentralized. So I'm gonna walk us through a few steps again, just to help people who are listening. So people often talk about one of the biggest risks with Bitcoin is a 51% attack. Now, a lot of people don't know what that is, but can you just explain what a 51% attack is? How real a 51% attack? How real is the risk? And then I've got some more follow-up questions.
Well, the attack is about somebody aggregating enough hash rate, and statistically, if he is this one person above the half, he is able to perform different kinds of attacks like double spends and stuff like that. But aggregating this amount of hash rate in a single place, there's a strong incentive from the miners to disconnect from such pool in case.
Forget pool aside. It's just a 51% attack on its own.
So this is what the attack is about. Like statistically, if you own more than half of the hash rate, and it's just enough by one person, you're able to do bad things on the blockchain.
You can force your will to everybody because
make your own truth. Basically,
new blocks are it's a competition. Once you have more than 50% of hash rate, you're in long term, you're winning. You're making the blocks as you like it. And you can make a different chain of blocks obsolete by building a different branch and making it longer than the previous branch. So that you can even invalidate blocks which are already mined. And it could cause a lot of troubles to a lot of businesses or users of Bitcoin. So the problem is the like orphaning already mined blocks and basically forcing picking transactions, whatever you want, or prohibiting some transactions to get into like censoring transactions, for example.
And is 51% enough to have to be able to cause some serious damage, or is it just like with 51% you're just over 50%, so you can cause some incremental problems, but most of it will get found.
It is a number which is just bigger than 50.
Yeah.
You can attack. You could try to attack the network with lower than 50%, but it would be just rolling the dice. For really making sure that you can attack, you would need much more than 51, because otherwise it would be just a random chance if you succeed or not, and it would be super costly for you to implement the attack, because if you eventually don't win, you have lost 50% of computational power for nothing. So to pull the attack, really, I think you would need a bit more. And there is a strong incentive for not doing so, mainly because of the disruption in the whole ecosystem, which you would cause. Like once somebody is trying to attack, I think the most probable reason why to do so would be damaging Bitcoin, not as a personal win. Because once you would attack, it would cause so much trouble that you can easily expect the price of Bitcoin go super low, or it would hit the price. So you as somebody who put a lot of computational effort and therefore money into mining Bitcoin, you would harm yourself by the exchange rate dip.
So what you're saying is the game theory is there's no economic upside for somebody to rewrite blocks, double spends, but there is an alternative economic benefit to someone who has a desire to destroy the network. That's the only.
If he wants to act irrationally.
Yeah.
So this is like extension of what Jan said. Miners who value Bitcoin, and typically miners are like the first line of Bitcoiners as well. They have a natural incentive to protect against 51% attack by switching to different pools to not disrupt the space because they would be harming their income, which is kind of nice direct incentive, right?
Yeah. If we imagine two scenarios, there is a mining center, just bear with me for the moment, well, one public miner who manages to accumulate 51% of the hash rate versus, say, a pool that that has 51% of the hash rate. Can they cause the same damage, or is the pool in a slightly different scenario?
It's a bit different in the sense that in case of pool, you as the owner of the machines connecting to the pool, you can change your mind and say, screw you, I'm gonna connect to a different pool, and then you can prevent the pool to have 51% to make the attack happen. Once there is a single entity deciding what to do with 51% hash rate without anybody's consent, then it's more serious situation to be in.